So we receive a few questions in the chat during your presentation. Alors the first one, perhaps the first one for Laure, perhaps Olivier, you present the behavior of 4 tons and 7 tons WOP. The question is, do you update the law between the both WOP? If yes, you update the law based on the result obtained on the bench test or not?
So yes, of course, it was the main objective of the project. We re-identified the parameter of the law for the 7-ton sub-WOP. So it's not the same parameter between 4-ton sub-WOP and 7-ton sub-WOPs. And so to do so, as I mentioned, we performed the multi-relaxation test, which is the test we use to identify those parameters on a test bench adapted at Ifremer. And so yes, it's a new set of parameters based on the test bench results.
Okay, Laure, thank you. Another question for you. Can you develop a little the difference that you obtain on slide 18? You show us a fatigue curve, and that lights some difference between Banfield and ISO. Can you develop a little the difference if it's induced by the difference of the rope construction or the methodology used?
So yes, so the main difference is the construction of the sub-WOPs. Again, as I mentioned, we studied the 4-ton sub-WOP scale, which has a specific construction with a small lay length. And so the construction used and tested by Banfield are construction with parameters closer to one full-scale sub-WOP. In fact, I think the one tested by Banfield are full-scale sub-WOP. And so that's the main difference. And then we perform our test using a load ratio close to 0, while Banfield perform its test with a mean tension fixed at 40% MBL mean tension between the minimum force and the maximum force of each cycle. And so its load ratio was changing, and it was the mean tension during the fatigue test that was maintained. So yeah, it's not the same methodology, and that's why an investigation of the impact of the load ratio, which will be done in the BADMOS project on the response of fatigue sub-WOP, will allow to improve the comparison we can propose between different methodology to obtain fatigue curves.
Okay, thank you, Laure. I received another question directly linked to your work conducted during your PhD. May the validity of the law you calibrate and depend of the total line length during the test to identify the parameter?
Sorry, can you repeat? I just.
Do you have an impact of the behavior of the law that you cabrelate in function of the total line length that you use for the identification of the parameter?
The length of the sub-WOP or the lay length of the.
The line length during the test.
Indeed, we will see differences of the low parameter when we change the sub-WOP construction. So when we change the lay length, so when we increase it, we have a direct impact on, for example, the instantaneous part of the law, which was the first spring. The first spring we can see on the rheological scheme.
Okay, thank you, Laure. A question perhaps for Romain. Just to confirm that the rope that we use during on MONAMOOR boy was the same that the one that we identified the behavior before?
Yes, it is. So on MONAMOOR we identified the coefficient for 7-ton sub-WOPs, and within the mooring lines of the deployed for the buoy. We have 4 7-ton subropes laid in parallel, plus a sand barrier and braided cover. So from our results, we can see that maybe this bundle have an impact of the total behavior law, but still we have some good comparisons.
Okay, thanks. So we have no time for additional question anymore. Sorry for that. So I will just conclude on this webinar. First, I would like to thank the speaker and all the participants to this webinar for the quality also of the presentation and your additional explanation. As we can say, we have seen some very interesting work and results that allow us to increase the understanding, in fact, of polyamide mooring line behavior and reliability. For sure, at France Energy Marine and with our partner, we continue research and development effort on these topics. We just started a new 3 years research project last month, named BAMOS for behavior and jig of mooring using synthetic rope. So for sure we'll have again a very interesting result to coming. So now and before closing this webinar, just to inform you that this presentation will be available on France Energy Marine YouTube channel. Thank you again for your presentation and wish you a nice afternoon.